Hello, students. This is Raheema, your very own biology expert from Ask IITians. In this video, we are going to discuss about improvement in the food resources. No, don't go on the cliche title because in this video, we are not going to discuss about the old chestnut. So let's begin. Improvement in food resources. So we are going to cover the following topics. First, we are going to start with the introduction. Okay. Then we will move on to the Green Revolution, which is a revolution and much more. Then we are going to move on to the agriculture, crop and its types, and the need, methods, and breeding of crop variety improvement. So let's start. When we say improvement in the food resources, we are not just tackling one problem, we are tackling at least six problems, which include food security, adapting to climate change. We are also focusing on reducing the environmental degradation. We are protecting national nutritional security, reducing poverty, sorry, and we are also looking at ensuring the most important thing, that is sustainable agriculture. So these are just six reasons why it matters to conserve the crop diversity. Okay. Food security, the concept of food security is actually very complex. When we talk about it, it is not only it does not only involve the production and processing of nutritious food, but it also uh, involves access by individuals to the full range of nutrients that are needed to maintain an active and healthy lifestyle. Crop diversity is central to food security. It it underpins today's production, and it provides the raw material which is needed for ensuring continuing supplies tomorrow in the face of a rapidly changing world. The fight to achieve food security and end hunger is one of the greatest challenges facing the world. Rising population, diminishing resources, and deteriorating environment only raise the stakes. So you understand why we are studying this topic. It is not just the topic, it is much more than that. And we are going to learn and fix it in our mind after we end this chapter. So let's begin with the first and foremost green revolution. Green revolution is the great increase in the production of food grains from introduction of new high yielding varieties, which began in the mid 20th century. But green revolution is not all advantageous, it has many disadvantages also. Like poor farmers, they were unable to afford the fertilizers and pesticides, because this actually increased green revolution increased the production and consumption of fertilizers and pesticides. So they have often reaped even lower yields with these grains and with the than with the older strains, which were better adapted to local conditions and had some resistance to pests and diseases in that particular region. So this is the problem which is faced by farmers even today, even after green revolution. So this is MS Swaminathan. You all must have recognized him. And in full, he is Monkombu Sambasivan Swaminathan. He's an Indian geneticist. Yes, he is. He is still alive. And an international administrator who is renowned for his role in India's Green Revolution. Green Revolution in India is a program under which high yielding varieties of wheat and rice were planted in the fields of poor farmers. He also helped introducing the Mexican semi-dwarf wheat plants to the Indian fields, and he also brought about greater acceptance of modern farming methods under this program of Green Revolution. So fix this picture in your mind because it is going to come in the questions later. Uh, okay, so you must also recognize this person, this great personality. He is Norman Ernest Borlaug, American agricultural scientist, plant pathologist, and a winner of Nobel Prize for peace in 1970. He is known as the father of Green Revolution. He helped lay the groundwork for the agricultural technological advances that alleviated world hunger. He assisted impoverished farmers who struggled with disease and low producing crops. And Borlaug experimented with novel varieties of wheat, creating disease resistant strains that could withstand the harsh climate. Uh, Norman Borlaug is a very important personality, actually, and he studied plant biology and forestry at the University of Minnesota, and he earned a PhD in plant pathology there in 1942. He began working with the DuPont Company in 1942, but was soon recruited as a research scientist in charge of wheat improvement for Rockefeller Foundation in Mexico, where he worked from 1944 to 1960. So, Green Revolution has resulted in increased production of food grains, especially wheat and rice, and was in large part due to the introduction of new and high yielding varieties in the developing countries, beginning in the mid 20th century with Borlaug's work. At a research station at Campo Etizapan, Borlaug developed a short stemmed strain of wheat that dramatically increased crop yields. Previously, the taller wheat varieties would break under the weight of heads when the crop production was increased by using chemical fertilizers. Borlaug's short stemmed wheat could withstand the increased weight of fertilized heads and was a key element in the Green Revolution in developing countries. Wheat production in Mexico multiplied threefold owing to this and other varieties. So, this was the story about Norman Borlaug. I will just show this again. With India and Pakistan facing the food shortages due to rapid population growth, the importation of Borlaug's dwarf wheat in the mid 1960s was responsible for a 60% increase in harvest there, helping both countries to become agriculturally self sufficient. Borlaug also created a wheat rye hybrid known as triticale, and his methods were used by others to develop a variety of highly productive rice. This increased yields that resulted from Borlaug's new strains empowered many developing countries, though their use required large amount of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. These high yielding varieties therefore raised concerns about cost and potentially harmful environmental effects, though Borlaug argued that uncontrolled population growth had necessitated such production methods. So this is the story about the Green Revolution. Quite interesting. Now let's move on to the agriculture. And in agriculture, the practices involved in farming can be divided into three stages. First, there should be a choice of seed for planting. Then, nurturing of the crop plants should be there, and protection of growing and harvested crops from losses. These are the three important points that should be kept in mind by the farmers if they want to increase the crop production. There are two types of crops: kharif crops and rabi crops. Kharif crops, they are grown in winter from June to November, and rabi crops from June to October, sorry, and rabi crops from November to April. So important examples of kharif crops are paddy, soybean, pigeon pea, maize, cotton, green gram, and black gram. And rabi crops are wheat, gram, peas, mustard, etc. Obviously, there are more examples. So these are just the types of crops. In the crop variety improvement need, I am again going to focus on the points that I told you in the beginning, in the introduction. Okay, let's move on to that slide again. So we discussed about food security. We discussed about ensuring sustainable agriculture. We discussed about adapting to climate change. We discussed about reducing environmental degradation. We discussed about protecting the nutritional security and obviously reducing poverty. These are the six things that you have to remember when you are talking about the need for crop variety improvement. So I'm going to list them on the next slide also. On this slide, I mean, ensuring nutritional security, reducing poverty, adapting to climate change, sustainable agriculture, and ensuring food security. These are some of the points why crop variety improvement is needed. Now, for improving the crop variety, we have to select the useful characters. The selection of useful characters are very important. So when a farmer is provided with the seeds, they should be of different varieties. They should be of different characters. They should be adaptable to the different environmental conditions, and they should also have some nutritional characteristics so that they are advantageous to the farmers. Hybridization is one such technique by which we can uh, select the useful characters and use them to our advantage. So it refers to a crossing between the genetically dissimilar plants. So suppose one plant has high sugar content and one plant has higher yield but low sugar content, uh, and if we cross them, the hybrid of this cross will have high sugar content and higher yield. So this is actually true for one sugarcane hybrid. One variety of sugarcane had low sugar but higher yield, and other variety of sugarcane had high sugar but lower yield. When a hybrid was created between these two sugarcane varieties, the hybrid actually had high sugar content and higher yield. So hybridization can be intervarietal, which is between different varieties. It can be interspecific, that is between two different species of the same genus. And it can be intergeneric, that means between two different genera. And another way of improving the crop is by introducing a desirable gene that carries a particular desirable characteristic. This results in GMOs, genetically modified crops. Some of the genetically modified crops are BT cotton. BT cotton is basically resistant to cotton bollworms. I can only give this example because this example is widely used presently. There are other BT crops also, but they are not in use. So, BT cotton is the best example for a genetically modified crop. Other genetically modified crops have been produced, have been created, but they are not in use because of some ethical problems, safety concerns, etc. Now, the factors uh, that are important for improving the crop variety include higher yield, and this is the production increase in the production per acre, increase in the production of a crop per acre. Production. Then there is improved quality. Now these quality depends. It varies from crop to crop. For example, baking quality is important for wheat, and the baking quality is important for wheat crop. Oil quality is important for oil seeds. Protein quality is important for pulses, and preserving quality is important for vegetables and fruits. So quality depends on the crop. There is biotic and abiotic resistance also. So these are the stresses. The biotic stresses includes insects, nematodes, and basically any kind of disease which reduces the crop production. Abiotic stresses include heat, cold, there is frost, there is drought, salinity, waterlogged soil. All these abiotic factors can reduce the crop production. So, if these two problems, if there are varieties that are resistant to both biotic and abiotic stresses, the crop production can be increased, and these varieties they can be grown in the uh, in many areas with different climatic conditions. Change in maturity duration is the fourth factor. The maturity duration can help in improving the crop production from basically the lesser the lesser the time is spent from sowing to harvesting, the more economical the crop is. This is because the farmers it will allow farmers to grow multiple crops in a year, and it will also reduce the cost of crop production, and it will make the harvesting easier, and it will also help in reducing the losses during harvesting. So these are some of the factors which can help if which can help in increasing the crop production when maturity duration is changed. So this is from sowing to harvesting. Remember, sowing to harvesting. Then there is wider adaptability. So if there is a crop that is adaptable to wider climatic conditions, so it can be, if it is, if it has wider adaptability, it can withstand wider climatic conditions, then it will be possible to grow it in many areas, which will dramatically increase the crop production. Next is desirable agronomic characteristic. Profuse branching is desirable for fodder crops, and dwarfness is desirable for the cereals, so that they consume less nutrients. And if there are desirable agronomic characteristics, then it will obviously help in increasing the crop production. So these are some of the factors, 5 factors basically. And now we will begin with the questions. So the first question is, you have to name two protein containing rabi crops. So the two protein containing rabi crops are gram and pea. So you can give other examples also. So if you're thinking about other rabi crops which are high in protein, then you're probably correct. Then the next question is about hybridization, and we have to also list two advantages of hybridization. So hybridization is the cross between two different varieties having desirable characteristics. The two advantages are it can produce disease resistant varieties. With this, it can also help in producing the varieties that have wider adaptability. That can grow in different climatic conditions. Having wider adaptability. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. So you have to list two desirable traits for fodder crops. So first, for the fodder crops, first is tallness, and the second is profuse branching. Branching that is going in every direction. That is very good for fodder crops. And if you're probably thinking about the cereal crops, then it was dwarfness. Dwarfness means short plants. The size should be short. So in this question, we have to define the term photoperiod. Photoperiod is the amount of light that is required by a particular plant to flower. Okay. Required by the plant to flower. So flowering is basically appearance of flower is basically one of the most important feature by which the farmers they see if the what is the growth period of a crop. So there are, on the basis of the photoperiod requirement of the photoperiod requirement of the light, there are three types of plants. There are long day plants. They require more than 12 hours of light. There are short day plants. They require less than 12 hours of light. Okay. Short day plants are more sensitive than the long day plants. So during this period of dark, which is provided to the short day plants, even if they are disturbed with a flash of light, they won't flower. Okay, which is not the case with long day plants. With the long day plants, if during their period of light, if they are exposed to dark, they will still flower. And there are day neutral plants also. Day neutral plants require 12 hours of light and 12 hours of dark. So this is photo period, and these are the three types of plants depending upon the amount of light that they require. Next question is, name the type of farming which is performed without the use of fertilizers and pesticides. So this is to jog your memory, to make your brain work a little bit, because this topic I'm going to explain in the next video. So any thoughts about this question? If you're probably thinking about organic farming, then you are absolutely correct, because organic farming doesn't require any use of fertilizers and pesticides, and it is quite a craze nowadays, actually. Not a craze, you can say it is a necessity also, with the concerns, different health concerns people are carrying. And people are more moving towards, this nomadic lifestyle, nomadic agriculture style, which will help in ensuring sustainable agriculture. Remember, I told you sustainable agriculture is very important. So you probably can go to your inventory, the kitchen pantry, and look for these organic pulses, and organic spices. The boxes, they will carry all the information. You can read them, and you can get the information about the companies also, if you're very curious. So, with this, let's move on to the next question, where we have to mention two advantages of shortening the duration of crop from sowing till harvesting. So, this is quite straightforward. From sowing till harvesting, if the duration is shortened, then the farmers will be able to grow multiple crops in a year. Second reason is that it will reduce the cost of crop production, which is very important. Thinking about the condition of farmers in India, it is very important for reducing the cost, and also it is a good thing for ensuring sustainable agriculture. So, you remember this person? Can you identify him? Of course, you can. And you have to mention any one of his achievements. You are absolutely correct. He is M.S. Swaminathan. I'm not going to go into his full form of his name, because it is difficult, obviously. But yes, his achievements are not difficult. He was an agricultural wizard, and he helped the poor farmers of India to grow new and high yielding varieties in their fields, which is an achievement. So, thanks to Mr. M.S. Swaminathan. And he is also regarded as father of Green Revolution in India. So, let's move on to the two disadvantages of Green Revolution in India. So, while I was explaining uh, Green Revolution, uh, I also told you, I also focused on the disadvantages. Okay. So here we are going to recapitulate them. Green revolution in India actually required the use of pesticides and fertilizers, which made which made it impossible for the farmers, for the poor farmers especially, to use them in their fields to grow the crops. And secondly, with the use of pesticides and fertilizers, the second reason is actually connected to the first one. How the use of pesticides and fertilizers will increase the concerns, increased concern. I will just erase this. Concerns over environmental sustainability. So, here also, again, I will raise the same issue. Environmental sustainability is also connected to the sustainable agriculture. So, you can say that it is just one of the branches of sustainable agriculture. So, both of these are connected, but in a way, they are also different, because environmental sustainability can also be threatened by the use of the new varieties. Okay, which can outnumber the use of the local varieties, which are, already resistant to pests and diseases. Okay, so with this, on this note, I'm going to end the video, guys. I hope you liked it and most of all understood it. If you have any doubts, you can post them on the forum and I would be very happy to answer your questions. And please, please, please stay tuned for my next video so that we can continue with such an interesting topic. Thank you.